Welcome back to Black Tower Tales. This is Series 3, where we're playing Shadowdark, and we're currently following our series of our group of 8 miners and people associated with the miners, their sort of mining leader group, who are being waylaid by some sort of military assault from the Underdark in this dwarven city. So we've got Chaos is at 6 for the GM emulator. I've got about 17 minutes on the current torches. And when last we were here, 2 of the 8, sort of, I forget their names, 2 of the leaders of the group being at the front while they were going deep into the mines, got basically ambushed by some bandits in the dark, and basically they didn't make it. They died, and everyone else ran away. Well, I think 1 or 2 of them took an arrow as they were running away. Yeah, Serial here also got injured on the way out. But they basically ran away, turned a corner, and I think my expected scene for this next session is that there's some next challenge. I think something that's maybe not a direct combat challenge, some sort of trap or hazard that's been created by the assault from the Underdark. But first, we need to test that on the fate chart, or the testing the expected scene in the GM emulator. So for that, we're at Chaos 6, and we need to roll under that. So we got a 9, so we don't have any sort of interrupt or altered scene. So really what I'm looking to do here then is essentially there's going to be a hazard, a trap, or some sort of combination of one of those with a combat event. So I think for that I'm going to do a d6. We're going to say 1 and 2 is some sort of hazard, and we've got a hazard chart from the Shadowdark sort of pre-release, I guess, book. There's hazards, there's traps, and then we're going to try to figure out some sort of combat if we get 5 to 6. So hazards is 1 to 2, traps is 3 and 4, and we got a 4. So there's some sort of trap that's been laid that somehow was laid behind them. This might actually, I think this isn't even the same hallway that they came down. We're going to say they ran away for a minute or two going down multiple different aisleways. So there's some sort of trap here. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll on the trap table in order to find out what kind of trap, what its trigger is, and the sort of damage that it does. But I also want to roll on the random, like the action and subject table for our random or GM emulator to try to see if there's some sort of additional context that we can use that as inspiration for with the trap. So first off, we need some d12s. So the type of trap it is, and remember, this is something for the entire group, so who knows how bad it's going to be. So this is a Hail of Needles trap. Hail of Needles, and its trigger is a false step. Okay. So there's a false step. 9, and then the damage or effect is 3d10. Wow, that's a lot of damage for for Shadowdark. That's crazy. So this is potentially a very, very dangerous trap to be going off. And what I think is going to happen. Let's go. We need our d10s. So we're on the action and subject event meeting tables. We have an 82, which resolves into an activity. Activity 16. Activity love. Activity love. All right. That doesn't seem like the most sensible prompts for this area. But I think the context of that prompt and where they are, the thing that I had thought in my head was that they were going to be with a false step. I think that resonates to me with some sort of, not that there's an actual one of the steps in the mine that is like they excavate it out and put a fake floor there or something like that. I think what this simply means is that there is a it's like a mine, basically. It's a mine in the mine, right? So it's a really wide, so it's hard to see it and distinguish it from just the normal floor of the mine. But it's something that basically they step on it, and when the pressure releases, it's going to explode on them. So I think that takes part of the activity, and the love part of it. I don't know. It's one of those things where that seems like it doesn't make sense in any way in the context. So we're just gonna roll with it. So basically, as the group is running away, they turn down this aisleway, or turn down this tunnel of the mine, and find that there is let's say that so they are actively running away from the people that attempted to kill them last time, and we sort of, I think, in the context of, oh man, I dropped the dice. So in the context of the being chased, I think eventually after a minute or two they're going to slow down, and I think that's where the love comes from, because they're not in love with their situation, but they're still getting tired and they want to save their energy in order to try to get away. So they're now walking through this mine. We're at what, 28 minutes? I keep dropping the damn dice. So they are essentially just walking away at this point. And I think some of them are going to get a chance. I think two of them, we'll see who. We're going to roll the 2d6s. Just go top to bottom here. Two of them are going to get a chance. The two that are in the lead, Torben and Serial still, they're the ones who are working with the leader of the mining expedition. Serial and Torben get a chance to sort of see the mine. I think actually it makes sense because Serial, as a geologist, as a stone researcher, is going to be able to have a better chance at seeing the mines on the ground because she's familiar with the stone and the way it should look, especially after being mined out. And so she's going to be able to have an easy check for identifying the false floor. But she rolled second, so Torben is going to be the first one. So it's going to be a wisdom check, DC 12. Oh, he makes it. Ooh. Actually, he still has a -2, so he definitely still makes it. And then Serial has her chance. She has a -3 to her wisdom, so maybe... oh, man. So she rolls a 2. So she did really poorly. And I think what happens is basically they're still hurrying. They're walking, but they're hurrying through the mine trying to get back to the safety of the rest of the city. Who knows how safe it actually is. But they're coming through... And I think Serial is, distracted by the dark. Maybe I think she actually probably, because she got injured and because she's sort of further back, not as wise as the other ones. Maybe she fell back from Torben, who has the torch ahead of them, so it's a little darker where she is. But basically, So I think 2. We're gonna have Torben in the front. He's sort of let's use these dice as sort of a minefield, right? I think there's probably a mine right in front of him, one over here, and I think what happens is Torben is at the front, Serial is farther back from him, and the other people are sort of, let's say, all together over here behind both of them. So Torben actually was trying to be... He's a dwarf. He's in the mines. He's sort of taking the lead on this kind of thing. Like they all made it away. He's also got the most health out of all... No, he doesn't have the most health. But he's sort of like being really, coming up, especially seeing... Because he hated Drago, the guy that died before. So he's like maybe sort of in a bit of a good mood. That, man... maybe not a good mood might not be the best way to say it, but he's like not super displeased that Drago is no longer with us. But Torben comes up. He didn't see the rest of these, but eventually he's about to walk right over them, and then Serial is close distance or near distance behind him. And Serial doesn't see it, and I think she actually has a chance of setting one off. So like maybe there's one just right here in front of her that Torben happened to walk past. I think that's just a likely scenario. Chaos 6, so it's 75% chance if she just sets it off right here, right now. Actually, I think that's very likely because she failed the check. She failed the check to see it. She's not paying that much attention. Actually, that's something I don't even think that she's going to roll. The question that I have for the fate chart, though, is are these all linked together magically so that they explode? And honestly, look at like the way this is, I think most of the other people are going to, be likely in the range of it. But I think it's likely that they're magically tied together. And that's an 86, so no, they're actually not magically tied together. But when Serial steps on this thing, it basically, how would I describe it? It's going to make this clicking sound as she steps on it, and that's what Torben sees. Actually, I think that's how Torben figures out there's all the mines. He didn't really see the one ahead of him, but he hears that click, and she sort of stands there for a second as it goes down. Torben turns around and is like, "Wait a second." And then she's like, huh? She steps off of it, and it's this hail of needles. Like I think when she steps off of it, it's like this bubble that comes up out of the ground, and then like becomes maybe like 1.5 feet in radius, just like this semicircle hemisphere on the ground. And then as it gets bigger, it sort of goes white and stretches out, and then explodes in this a hail of needles, essentially, coming out and shooting in every direction. I think, how far out should it go? I think maximum would be like a 30-foot range, but let's see. 1 is this very close range. 6 would be higher range. So yeah, at this point, only Serial is getting caught in the radius of this item, and she's gonna take. Actually, she gets it. I think she gets another. Let's say she gets another chance to save, and take half damage. I don't know if that's how it works in here. We will just say, actually, this is a perfect thing to use the fate chart for. Does she get a save? I have 50-50. I don't know. It's Chaos 6, so yes, she gets a save. It's going to be a D12 this time, and we'll say it's dexterity. So she has a +0, and does not make it. So she's taken the full 3d10, which turns out to be that's 15 damage right there, and yeah, 23 damage. So this level 0 character just steps on this thing. It bubbles up out of the ground. Actually, it might not even be. I think we'll keep it as a trap, because I was thinking maybe it's just a magical trap that is. It doesn't really click, but it makes this sort of slooshing sound, which is totally foreign to the mine area that they're in, and that's what Torben keyed off of. In fact, I think I like that more. So it made a sound when she stepped on it, but because she wasn't paying attention, even though she is a geologist, she wasn't paying attention. They've been in a stressful situation. I think she just didn't notice, and then yeah, it was this magical explosion of needles, and she basically takes 18 damage. She only had 2 health left, and you see this elf. So she's sort of taller than all the other people, right? Maybe the half orc was almost as tall as her. Because we only have dwarves and goblins except for her. So yeah, you've got this tall female elf that is just her entire. She turned around towards the bubbling up trap out of the ground, and her entire front side is just peppered with needles that are black and viscous, and I'd say they were even like dripping ooze from some sort of maybe poison that's coming out of them. And she just keels over and perishes right in front of them. I think she's actually going to let out a terrifying scream that freaks out the other guys. And I think all of 4 of these are going to need to make some sort of morale check, which I don't remember exactly how that works in Shadowdark right now, but I think it's a wisdom versus difficulty. So if any of them fail, I think they're going to make a run for it and have a decent chance of stepping on one of these things. So we're gonna go with Brolga first. She's got a decent wisdom, but she's a +0, so she's gonna fail. Gendry here has +2, so he succeeds. So he stays put. Riggs here has a +2, but he fails with an 11, and then Elga succeeds even though she has a -2 with a 14. So I think it was Brolga and Riggs that failed. I think so, yeah. I probably should have slowed that down a little bit. But Brolga and Riggs fail their wisdom saving throw, and I think Brolga runs in her reason for failure is that she's like running ahead in order to because she's the direct superior of all the minor people. She's going to run towards Serial and attempt to see what the hell happened. So she's going to step on the trap and have a chance to avoid the damage a little bit. And she rolls an 18. So let's say instead of 3d10, that means she only takes 1d10 damage. So she runs towards Serial, doesn't notice the bubbling up coming up from behind her, and sort of actually almost gets out of the way of it. But there's such a density of needles that come out from it that she still takes a significant amount of damage. And this is going to be 1 damage. Okay, so yeah, she barely gets hit by any of it. Oh, okay, so that's an interesting question. Serial, she took a bunch of damage, so I just sort of assumed she was dead, but I don't actually know, like, she could have just been reduced to 0, right? She could have just stayed at 0 instead of going negative. So I think there's a very small chance that she's still alive. So Chaos is 6. The question is Serial actually dead? I'm going to say that's nearly certain, so it's a 90% chance on this, but I think there's a decent chance that she's not stable at 0, but she's at 0 and is going to go into her death saving throws. But yes, she's definitely dead. She just took too much damage. 3d10, man, that's rough. But Brolga is at 6. She takes a peppering of these needles to her left shoulder. And then Riggs over here, number 7. Actually, yeah, he's right next to one of these traps, and he, unbeknownst to him, he had actually already stepped on it when Serial screamed, and in the moment he's just like freaking out. He freaks out at seeing her go down, and then Brolga also getting peppered with these needles, and he steps off of it and is taking a second to back away from them, and he eventually turns around and tries to run, but not before the trap explodes right behind him. And he has we'll say dexterity. Oh, he's got a -1 to dexterity, so he definitely does not reduce the damage as he's running away. He does have 5 hit points, so he has a chance of surviving, right? Unfortunately, he took 16 damage from the first D10s, and takes 8 more, so he just takes 24 damage. I think, again, he is gonna, he steps on the trap, he starts to back away when he sees all these other traps going off, and then sees the trap in front of him, then tries to run away, but it bursts behind him, and he takes a boatload of damage. And the question is he just straight up dead, or is he sitting at 0? Because I think he's probably going to be dead. Again, we're going to go with a nearly certain on this 13. Not actually, that's below the hell yes. So not only is he dead, but I think he doesn't even make a sound. He sort of turns around, it pops, and he just gets blasted over the back of his body and just flops down on the ground. So we've got Riggs and Serial here that are currently deceased. And honestly, we have Elga here, who did not fail the morale check that she had. Yeah, it's a she. But I think she was very close to that trap, and I think she has a chance to get away. I'm going to say this is going to be a bit easier for her. Because she didn't freak out. She sort of kept her wits about her during the morale check, so she has a chance to get away. But the question is she going to be able to? She's got a D12 check. Actually, no, it's going to be a DC 9, and she has a +2 on her dexterity in order to sort of get out of range of these exploding bubbles. Oh, but she rolled a 1. Oh, no, that's unfortunate. Oh, man. So, she takes her own D12. She kept her wits about her with the morale check, but at the end of the day, she sort of like tripped over herself as the bubble was exploding and wasn't able to get out of range, and takes, oof, that's 9. Oh no, 18 damage. So she just, yeah. Holy man, holy guacamole, 18 more damage to Elga. And again, we'll see. Does she just die outright? This is way more health than she has. She has 2 maximum health because these are all level 0 characters, right? And again, 90% chance, nearly certain that she dies, and she does. That's a just falls over right away. So that's in the space of barely more than a round. We've got 3 characters down of the 6 that were remaining. I think Torben over here sort of yells out to the rest of them and tries to convince them, hey, just stop moving, don't move. We've got a moment of peace here. And he's going to try to convince them with his not very good charisma. But it's wait, no, he only got an 8 initially, I think, before I moved it. And he's still holding his torch. He says, just wait, nobody move, all right? He sort of steps up. He knows what to look for with the traps and sees that there are no more around them. Reaches down and he's going to try to see if, what's her name? Serial is dead. And realize that she is sort of like, and then Brolga, I think, is going to be, what's happening? Who knows? How could this be happening here? And he's like, I don't know, but we got to go. Just follow me and be careful. So Brolga follows him. He sort of is slowly headed towards Gendry. He catches up. It's like, all right, we got to make our way out of here. Just be slow about it. And they are going to actually head back towards where they just came from. Ooh, actually, are they? Or are they going to try to continue heading through the minefield? Because they know there's danger behind them. They know there's danger in front. I don't know. It's 50-50. So the question is, are they going to continue through the minefield? Because that was my initial impression that they would do that. So we've got a 65% chance, 72. So no, they are going to double back. I think they check all their bodies and realize that they're all beyond help. And I think Torben is going to he's the scribe. He's going to make a little note as to where their bodies are and try to, if there's any way to come back and get them and recover them, he's going to try to do that. But the 3 of them make their way back down the hallway in order to try to find a different mine shaft and to be able to get back towards civilization. And with that, I think we're going to be ending the session. We might actually, we'll maybe figure that out next time, or we might actually have 3 characters to start the solo campaign. I don't know how many we want to try to have, but I also don't want to kill off literally everyone. But yeah, just these bubbling hail of needles traps just take out a whole bunch of these little guys. As far as threads go, we don't really have anything to add. It's sort of all under the umbrella of this invasion from the Underdark. And chaos factor, do I think that's going to go up? I think that's going to go up. We're going to have chaos 7 for session 3. And that's interesting. We're at 42 minutes through the torch that Torben has. Ooh, that's the question. Before we go, the question I have is, does Torben have additional torches? Actually, I think, yes, they definitely have torches throughout the party. They were a mining party. They were going to be going deeper. They have torches. The question is, does Torben have them on him? Or does he need to get them from the other people? No, he doesn't. So basically, before they leave, they realize they need to salvage some stuff from one of these bodies. And he actually has to take torches from, let's see, oh yeah, Elga, the water boy, or water girl of the group, over here, number 6. She had some torches on her that she was holding for the expedition. And he takes them from her body, and they delve backwards, deeper into the mines. So yeah, with that, we're gonna close this session, this in series 3, and hope you have a good one. See you next time.